The very first time you look at your solar controller, you may take a look and say, what does all of this information mean? Well, in this video, we are going to go over all of the information on your integrated solar controller, including how to read all that information and how to make changes. The solar charging in your Thor Motor Coach can be monitored on your Rapid Camp Plus display panel. The panel is a quick way to see the wattage and amps going into the battery. To access the Go Power controller, tap the Go Power Solar button. On some panels, it will be right here on the home screen, and on others, you will find it under the electrical section. Your Thor Motor Coach may have a 10 amp or 30 amp solar controller, and because that controller is powered from the input side of the master battery switch, your batteries are going to get that solar charging whether your battery disconnect switch is in the on or off position. The solar controller is fully integrated with the batteries and the solar panel, so when the batteries need charging, they are going to cycle through 4 stages: bulk, absorption, float, and equalize. So the solar controller regulates the charging put out by the solar panels to prevent overcharging, but the solar charger does not regulate other charging sources which could potentially cause overcharging. We're talking about things like running the engine on the RV, running the generator, being hooked up to shore power, and charging through the converter or inverter charger. So checking out the Go Power screen, here we can check out the charging voltage to the batteries as well as the charging current to the battery. We can also look at the charge status, the charge condition of the batteries, and you can go back 7 days to check out the charge history in amp hours. Some displays are going to show you the total power generation for a certain number of operating days. Front and center, all of our controller information. Your max battery voltage and current, the max solar in volts and current, along with the maximum solar power. At the bottom of the controller screen, you can check on your faults, like the one we see here. What you need to do is go back to the Rapid Camp main screen, go to the setting icon, which is the gear at the bottom. Now tap Network Diagnostics. When this little solar button pops up, press that. Now your controller info is going to come up and you can tap on Details. This screen shows you all the information happening with your solar charging system. Just hit return to take you back to the home screen. So once you get back into the Go Power controller screen, under the solar column, you can check on the volts, amps, and watts being brought in from the panels on the roof being sent to the batteries. Under the battery column, you can see the type of charge along with the volts, watts, and amps of the batteries. When we ship this out from the factory, we have it all set up for you. But if you want to switch out the battery type down the road, you can start by tapping the Setup button. There are 4 battery types to choose from: AGM, lithium, flooded, and gel. Your battery type selection is very important because different battery types have a very different charging profile, and an incorrect battery type selection could damage the battery. Below that, if you need to adjust the battery bank size after adding an additional battery, you can do that here. If you want to add a few more solar panels on the roof, you can, but make sure you take note of the maximum current capacity of your solar controller. You never want to end up with panels that have a higher current capacity than what your controller is designed for. So this is pretty handy. You can check out all your solar info on the go. All you need to do is connect your phone or tablet to Rapid Camp Plus. Once you pull up the Go Solar tab, you can get a quick look at the watts, volts, and amps coming in, along with the internal temp of the battery, and you can check if there are any faults. There is an entire manual on your solar charging system ready for you to dive into, and you can find it on the owner's resource page on thormotorcoach.com.